Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and jazakumullah to you all for waiting patiently and joining our class today. ST, assalamu alaikum. Can I please have a student for the daily dua, please?
Walaikum assalam. Can G2 601 come to the mic, please?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you today?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm well. Okay, so would you like to start reading? What I'll do is I'll recite, and if you could recite after me. Okay, just one moment. Let me just get something out of the way. Okay, so أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
Okay, if you could read the translation.
I seek refuge with Allah from Satan the rejected.
And over here, if you quickly recite this one as well.
Why we recite Dawood before reciting Quran? Allah tells us in chapter 16 verse 99, and when they recite the Quran, seek refuge with Allah from Satan the rejected.
Jazakallah. And the English for Bismillah.
In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful. Reciting Bismillah before every deed invokes the blessings of Allah upon that deed. It is a sunnah to recite it before every good deed.
Jazakallah. One moment. Okay, next, the dua, the prayer for learning and teaching the Holy Quran. Rabbi zidni ilma.
Rabbi zidni ilma. Oh my Lord, increase my knowledge. Daha 115.
And do you want to read?
The Holy Quran has 114 chapters. Daha is the name of chapter 20. It has 136 verses. The above dua can be found in verses 115 of Surah Daha.
Jazakallah. That was really, really good reading. Jazakallah. G26.
Jazakallah.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so just a quick reminder of our etiquettes. I know most of you are really familiar with these by now, but I hope you've all done ablution, which is wudu, and I hope you're all wearing clean clothes and your head should be covered. You should be sitting in a quiet place, and a parent should be present, and you should be using the correct ID. So if you follow all of those rules that we've set out for you, your class will be one that's enjoyable for yourself and for everybody listening. So please do ensure that you follow those rules that we've set. Okay, so today's class is class number 12. Today we've done the assembly, so this is the schedule for today. We've done the assembly. We'll be doing the rules in focus, so we'll be doing a revision of everything you've been doing these last few weeks, so Shadda and a couple of other rules. Then you have the practice text, which is chapter 26, Ashura, which is verse 52 to verse 60. The next thing we'll be doing is the most mispronounced letters. In this case, it's Dawad. So we'll be learning how to pronounce Dawad. Then we'll be going on to consolidation, where we'll be doing the homework, the announcements, and dua. Okay. So on to the revision for the lessons that you've been learning these last few weeks. So the first one we'll be doing is the lesson of Tashdeed. Now, I hope you all remember what Tashdeed means, but let's just go over it again and hopefully we'll take you through and hopefully you can remember it. Okay, so on class 8, you learned Tashdeed. And Tashdeed is this sign here. So you can see in this circle, there's a small W sign above the line. So if you read here, it says tashdid. It's shape symbol that sits above a letter. It looks like a little W, and it's also known as a shadda, written when two same letters are next to each other. So that indicates there are two letters beneath that stroke. Okay, so mushaddad letter is a letter that carries a shadda, and it's called a mushaddad. So a letter that carries a shadda, which is this tashdid here, is called a mushaddad letter. So mushaddad jeem over here, as you can see, there is a small jeem in this circle here, and above it you can see a small W shape. That indicates that there are two letters underneath that W. So underneath the W, there are two jeems. Okay, the symbol is written, instead of writing it twice, the symbol is written on top of that small W, which is the shadda, to indicate that there's two letters beneath it. Okay, so joining. A mushaddad letter joins to the most recent vowel letter. So both sounds must be made. You press on the mushaddad letter because there are two letters there. Okay, so a mushaddad letter joins to the most recent vowel letter. Over here, you will see that the jeem is the mushaddad letter because it carries a W, but it has to join onto the most recent mutaharrik letter, which means it joins onto the sin. And in this case, we will read it as sujji. Notice that I'm expressing the jeem quite strongly because that's how you join it onto the letter before it. So instead of saying sujji, which is very soft, we say it quite strongly, sujji, and we express both sounds. So it's the sin, in this case, which is a madmoom sin, so we will say su, and in this case it's a maksur jeem, and we remember there are two jeems beneath the W. We join the jeem onto the su, so sujji. That's for mushaddad. So tashdid, there are 5 easy steps to remember how to do the tashdid. First of all, identify. So step 1 is to identify. You have to identify the mushaddad letter. And in this case, you can see it's the jeem. Why is it a mushaddad letter? Because it carries a shadda above it. Step number 2, identify the vowel letter. So the most recent mutaharrik letter before it. You have to see the letter that has a vowel above it. So in this case, we have a dhamma above the sin, and this makes it a madmoom sin. Okay, step number 3, join the mushaddad and the vowel letter, also called a mutaharrik letter. So you have to join them together. Ignore the stroke on the mushaddad letter. So suj. In this case, we're just joining the s and the jeem, without a harakat on it, without a vowel on the jeem for now. But as we can see, the jeem also carries a kasr, and so we join it on. So step number 4 is you look at the stroke on the mushaddad letter and make the sound right. In this case, it's a kasra, so we say G. So remember, going back 1 step, we look at the vowel, the mushaddad and vowel letter, we join them together, suj, and then we have to say the vowel of the mushaddad letter as well, suj, ji, sujji. Okay, so you combine, and the 5th step is when you combine. So you join everything together. Remember to press on the mushaddad letter, sujji. So again, step 1, you find the mushaddad letter. Step 2, find the vowel letter, the mutaharrik letter. Step number 3, the mushaddad and vowel letter, join them together, suj. And step number 4, at the stroke on the mushaddad letter, make the right sound, G in this case. And then you combine everything together in step number 5, sujji. I hope that's clear, and I hope that the lessons that you're learning online with us, I hope you're remembering to note them and read them correctly as you're doing your daily recitation. Okay, on to the next one, next revision lesson for today. It's combining. So blank letters between mutaharrik and mushaddad, and mutaharrik and sakin letters. So combining. Last week, you learned that a mushaddad letter is a letter carrying a shadda, which we've just revised. A mutaharrik letter is a letter that carries a stroke. So that stroke could be anything, fatha, kasra, or dhamma. Mushaddad letter joins to the most recent mutaharrik letter. When you see a mushaddad letter, you work your way back till you find a voweled letter. And you join those two, ignoring any letters in between. So any letters, for example, an alif that does not carry a stroke, you ignore it. Instead, you join the mushaddad onto the mutaharrik letter. And it's exactly the same for sakin letters. What are sakin letters? Sakin letters are the letters that could have a jazm about them or a sukoon about them. Okay, so we're just going to revise that lesson quickly. Okay, so over here you can see there are sakin letters and mushaddad letters. If you see sakin letter or a mushaddad letter, join to the most recent mutaharrik letter, ignoring the letters in between. So over here you'll see a sakin letter, and in this case the sakin letter is the lam sakin over here. Why? Because it carries a sukoon. What do we need to do? We know it's a combining or joining letter. We need to find the previous mutaharrik letter to join it with. So looking back, look at this letter. Does this alif have a stroke above it? If it doesn't, we ignore it. In this case, it doesn't, so we don't read it. Again, the alif, the next letter is an alif, and it carries no stroke, so we don't read this. We ignore that one too. Then we see a waw over here, but it doesn't have a stroke above it either, so we ignore it. And lastly, we see a ghain. This ghain carries a dhamma, so it's a madmoom ghain. We join this one onto the lam sakin. So let me read that for you. Ghul. Okay, in this case, yablughul huluma. Yablughul huluma. Okay, and the same rule applies to a shadda or a mushaddad letter. Okay, so in this case, we see a swad over here, and you can see the swad carries a shadda above it and a vertical fatha. So what do we have to do? We know when we see a shadda or a sakin letter, we have to combine or join the letter to something. How we do it is we check all the letters previous to it, and we can see this one doesn't carry a stroke, this one doesn't carry a stroke, this alif doesn't carry a stroke, and this waw doesn't carry a stroke, but the lam does, and the lam carries a dhamma. So this is a madmoom lam, and we join the madmoom lam onto the swad. So let me read that for you. Luswa, luswa. And be mindful that because this is a tashdeed, we have to read it quite strongly. So, luswa, amilu salihati, amilu salihati. So that's the rule of combining. Okay, on to nasalization. So class 11 is where you learnt about nasalization. Nasalization means to have a sustained nasal sound. So nasal means anything from the nose. So a sound that comes from the nose. It's not less than 2 seconds, and it's also known as ghunna in Arabic. Okay, so they're mim mushaddad. This occurs on 2 letters. So on mim mushaddad, you can see this mim here, and it carries a shadda. That means that this is a mim mushaddad. The other letter that is a ghunna or a nasalization letter is the noon, and as you can see, carries a shadda. These 2 letters, noon mushaddad and mim mushaddad, are the nasalization letters. So their sound comes from the nose, and you follow the same steps as tashdeed, only there's one extra step, and the extra step is the nasalization of the sound, or of the mim and the noon. So when we're reading this sound here, mim mushaddad, you hold it for 2 seconds in order to send the sound into your nose. There's a slight vibration into your nose, and the slight vibration into your nose while you're reciting it. So let's say that this mim mushaddad had an alif mutaharrik before it. Let's say it had an alif with a fatha. That would make the alif an ah sound. In order for us to join it onto this mim, we would say it like this. If this was a maftu mim. And the noon again, if we were to join the alif maksura to a noon maftu, sorry, alif maftu to noon maftu, it'd be anna. I hope you can hear the sound going into my nose, and you hold it for 2 seconds in order for the nasalization to occur. So that's the rule of nasalization. So I hope that was good revision for you. And I hope you're able, while you're reciting at home, you're remembering these rules and applying them in your reading text. Okay, so on to the practice for today. ST, if I could have a student to start practice for today, please.
And G2 606, come to the mic, please.
Assalamu alaikum, G2 606.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Okay, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm well. I'm going to ask you, because we've just done a revision lesson. You can see the first thing we're going to recite is the noon mushaddad over here. Can you tell me how or what the rule is for this noon mushaddad here?
So there is a stroke underneath the alif, so you're not going to ignore it. And for the noon, you're going to combine the alif and the noon together, and like it makes a little hard sound.
Well done. That's for the rule of tashdid. So you're telling me that you have to find the letter that's what the harak previous to it and join it together, which is correct. Well done. But with the noon mushaddad and the mim mushaddad, there's an extra step. What's the extra step involved? Remember, there are 2 letters of nasalization. What does nasalization mean?
Does it mean like when you
I'll help you out a bit. When nasalization has got something to do with the nose, right?
yeah, so like you pronounce it a little bit when it comes from like your nose.
Okay, well done for remembering the shadda and the rules for shadda. The noon mushaddad in this case, so what happens with when you see a noon with a shadda, which is a noon mushaddad, what we do is we hold the noon mushaddad for an extra second, not too long, just enough for the sound to go into our nose. And the same applies to this meme here. Can you see that meme there? Yeah?
Yes.
So you have to hold it for an extra second so that the sound goes into our nose. Let me read it for you. Inna, yeah, instead of inna, if it was just a shadda with a different letter, it's inna, yeah.
Inna.
Well done, that was really good reading. So you can understand the difference between another shadda, so that's this here, this ba, and this one here. So this we would read as inna, and this one rabbu. Can you notice the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah, so nasalization only occurs on noon mushaddad and mim mushaddad. Okay?
Okay.
Brilliant. Okay, so let's start reading. If you can follow me, I'll recite and you can follow after me. Inna naqma'u.
Inna. This is a bit of a tricky sound. It's a thick sound, but it's also a soft jerk sound as well. So nat. Inna mat.
Noon. So this is a noon. Naqma'u. Well done. That was quite tricky, but you did very well. Okay, let's read on. An yaghfira. Okay, try not to move the line. Try to hold on to it without a jerk sound. Yeah, let's try that again. An yaghfira. Much better, well done. Okay. Lana rabbuna.
Rabbuna.
Okay. Lana rabbuna. Khatayana.
Khatayana.
أن كنا
أن كنا
أول
أول
المؤمنين
المؤمنين
وأوحينا
وأوحينا
إلى
إلى
موسى
موسى
أن أسر بعباد أن
أن
أسر
أسر
بعباد
أن أسر بعبادي
well done إنكم تبعون
إنكم متبعون.
Okay, that was quite tricky. Let's read that again because let's just break it up. إنكم
إنكم
متبعون
متبعون.
Well done, excellent, Jazakallah. That was really, really good reading. I'm just going to quickly take you through something. Okay, see this rule here. Do you know this rule of Noon Sakin? So when you see a kaf after it, what we do is ikhfa, and we do a slight nasal sound. Kunna.
أن كنا
Okay, so the noon sakin in this case is only slightly pronounced. Instead of saying a clear noon sound, an, we say slightly, take your tongue slightly back from your teeth and say instead of an.
أن
Okay, that's better, but you gotta do slight nasal sound. So it's called partial nasal sound, and it's not a clear noon. It's slightly a sort of a noon sound. Okay, and when you're saying wa, if you could tell me how you recite this letter.
وأو
Okay, so this wa here is pronounced like a W. So your lips go round, but you don't touch your teeth or lips anywhere. It's wa, like a W.
وأ
Yeah, so in this case, wa au. Wa.
وأو.
Yeah, okay, well done. That was really, really good reading. Well done. Excellent. Jazakallah G2 606. Jazakallah.
Bye.
Okay, Jazakallah. Can I have another student, please?
And G2 611, come to the mic, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you?
Good, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, let's read on. فأرسل. This is, yeah. فأرسل.
فأرسل
Okay, فرعون.
فرعون
في المدائن.
في المدائن حاشرين.
Okay, so when we come to a stop at the whenever we stop with a sukoon in this case. So we read it as hashirin. The fatha goes and this noon turns into a noon sakin, and you stop with a sukoon above the noon. So you read it as reen. Yeah? Try that. Hashirin.
حاشرين.
Well done. Innaha.
Aha.
Okay, try joining this alif. Can you see this alif maksura here? This alif with a kasra and this noon mushaddad. That's the rule that we just learned or revised. I hope you've understood what you have to do. Do you know what you have to do when you see a noon mushaddad? So this one's a joining letter, and you see that small W, we have to join it onto the letter before it, if the letter that is a mutaharrik letter, a vowel letter. In this case, this is an E. We join it onto the noon. But because this is a noon mushaddad, it's got an extra rule, and the rule is nasalization. We have to send the sound into our nose for 1 second. This is how we read this. Inna.
Inna.
Well done. Ha-ula.
Ula.
E.
E.
Okay, so this mud here, do you know how long we recite this for?
2 seconds.
Okay, so anything that is an extra more, this vertical one here, maybe you've seen something with a ya sakin, it's elongated for 2 seconds. This one is for 3 seconds, and this one here is 5 to 7 seconds, so it's quite long, it's not short. You have to read it for quite a long time. So do you want to try that again? La I.
La. E.
Well done. La shirzimatun.
La shir.
The
Zi.
matun.
Matun.
Okay, this zal we practiced last week, and the zal is pronounced when your teeth touch, your tongue, the tip of your tongue touches the top of your teeth, touches the tip of your top teeth, and the slight the sound comes out. Like when we say the or the, that's the sound we're looking for. Do you want to try that once? The. Yeah, so in this case, it's a the. Yeah, and then matun qalilun. Matun qalilun. Okay, let's read the next verse together as well. Wa innahum lana laghaun. Okay, la and then ra, ghain sound. Ra is quite a thick sound as well, so you want to say ra. Try that once.
Ga.
Okay, so it's slightly more sort of like a ghain, ra sound rather than a gaf. You're looking at a ra sound. Try that. La ra.
Laga.
Idun.
Izun.
Okay, that was really, really good reading. Let me just quickly ask you. So you see this ra here? Do you know what that rule is? This ra sakin here. No, that is a sukoon, and a sukoon is a combining that we just revised. So what do we have to see when we see a sukoon above a letter? We have to look for the previous mutaharrik letter. In this case, it's the a. We'll read it as ar. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, Jazakallah G2 611. That was really good reading. Okay, before we ask for another student, I just want to quickly remind you of the online attendance form that we have in the chat box. If you could all fill that form in for us, and it registers your attendance for today. ST, can I have another student for recitation, please?
And G2 612, come to the mic, please.
G2 612.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Good. Okay, so let's read on. Wa inna لجميع
لجميع
This one's tricky. Sound. Constrict your throat at the back.
عن
So you do still have to remember, what does this letter carry? This letter carries a, do you know what that is? A dhammatain. Yes? 2 dhammas, right? So it carries a sound with it. So la jami'un
لجميع
hadirun.
حاذرون
Has to be slightly more pronounced. Hadirun.
حاذرون
فأخرجنا فأخرجناهم من This is a ha. This one here. This, can you see that's there? That's a ha. So hum min
هم من
jannah
جنة
This one. This is one. عيون.
عيون
Just عيون.
عيون
Well done. Okay, because this ayn is very tricky, but you're doing really well. Let's read on. وَكُلُوا.
وكنوا
Remember not to join when you don't, there's no shadda or a sukoon above this one, so try not to join those letters. وَكُلُوا.
وكنوا
Okay, so this is how we're going to separate it. وَكُلُوا.
وكنوا
وَكُلُوا.
وكنوا زوا مقا
بالكريم.
من كريم
This is an ikhfa. Remember that I was telling you slight nasal sound. So min kareem.
من كريم
Noon sound. It's a noon. So min kareem. Min kareem.
من كريم
Jazakallah. So I'm just going to quickly get you to read this one here again. If you could read this one here. وَإِنَّا
وإنا
لَجَمِيعٌ.
لجميع
Me. This is a ya, and ya sakin over here. So me, we prolong this for 2 seconds. لَجَمِيعٌ.
لجميع
Okay, me. This is a ya. There's no noon here. We read it as a me, a prolonged me for 2 second elongation because there's a ya sakina here and this is a kasra. In this case, we prolong it for 2 seconds. Okay. La jami'un
لجميع
hadirun.
حاضرون
The sound. The. Try that again. حاذرون.
حاضرون
Jazakallah, that was very good reading. So yeah, Jazakallah G2 612. Jazakallah. Can I have another student, please?
Can I request G2618 to come to the mic, please?
G2 618. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Wonderful. Okay, so let's read again. I'm just going to go back to read from here. So we're going to start from here. Okay, one moment. Much easier with this. Right, okay. Wakanu, sorry, wakunu.
Should I say tools and Tasmia?
Yes, you can say, if you would like to say it, you're welcome to say it if you like.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وكنوا
Wakunu.
وكنوا
Zimwa.
زم
So this here is a wow. Zimwa.
زم
Maqamin.
مقام
Okay, let's read it again. Maqamin min kareem.
مقام كريم.
Very good reading. Okay, so you see this qaf here, this sound here. Some letters are thin and some letters are thick in the Holy Quran. This qaf is read with thickness. So in this case, we don't say ka, we say qa. So in order to do it, you have to round your lips as well. So do you want to try that again? Maqa.
مقام
So try to send the sound into your mouth and it will sound better. So qa. Maqa.
مقام.
Much better. Do you see the difference?
Yes.
Yeah. Over here, you'll see another kaf. This kaf is not thick, so we read this as ka. But this one here is read as qa. Yeah, there's a big difference. Okay, let's read that again. Maqamin kareem.
مقام كريم.
Okay, that's much better, but just remember it's a thick sounding letter. Okay. كذلك
كذلك
وأورثناها
وأورثناها
بني
بني
إسرائيل.
إسرائيل.
There's a lam at the end, so we have to join this onto the ja and the hamza here. Okay, let's read that again. Israel.
Israel.
So remember, there's a lam we also have to sound. You can see this lam here. Can you see that one?
Yes.
And what mark does it carry above it? What vowel is it?
Fataha.
Well done. But when we come to a stop on this fatha turns into a sukoon like this one here. But we still have to join them all together. We still have to make the sounds. So if we're saying the e, and we have to elongate it with the ja, so it turns into an e, which is for 2 seconds. But straight after that, we have to join the lam onto the end of that e. So do you want to do that again? Eel.
Il.
Well done, that's much better. Do you understand?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, can you tell me this scene here carries which mark does it carry? Which stroke?
Sukoon.
And what does sukoon mean? When you see a sukoon, what do you have to do?
You have to join the most mutaharik letter.
Well done. Yes, that's correct. So in this case, what's the mutaharik letter preceding it?
Alif and Ra.
Okay, well done. This one here, so preceding means comes before. Whenever we're joining, we have to join it onto the letter before it, okay? If you see a shadda, so in this case, you see the shadda here, it joins into the letter before it that it is a mutaharik. In this case, it's a za, not the one after it. So we're looking at the scene, and it's the letter before it that we're finding that is a mutaharik letter. In this case, it's an alif maksoor. It's an alif with a kasra on it. In this case, it's is. We say is. Why? We're joining the alif onto the scene. Is.
Is.
Okay. Jazakallah. And over here, you can see this mim mushaddad. Oh, sorry. This mim mushaddad up here. Do you know what the rule is for the mim mushaddad? Okay, so we just revise this. This meme mushaddad is a nasalization sound. And what we have to do, we have to send the sound into our nose. Let me practice that with you once. So we're just going to read the ha and the meme over here. Hum. Okay, and why do we do the hum bit? Because the meme is a mushaddad meme, and that means you need to nasalize the sound. Same applies to this noon mushaddad here. Jannah.
Jannah.
Okay, so you understand that when you see a shadda, a letter that is a mushaddad letter, it has to join onto the letter before it that is mutaharik. But if it's a meme mushaddad or a noon mushaddad, then you prolong it for 2 seconds to nasalize it. Okay. Jazakallah G2 618. That was very good reading. Okay, can I have another student come to the mic, please?
Can G2 683 come to the mic, please?
G2 683. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. G2 683. Are you there? ST, can we choose another student? And then if you could choose this one again.
Okay. Can G2 638 come to the mic, please?
G2 638. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. How are you?
I'm fine, how are you?
Okay, let's read. So I'll recite and you follow. Inna natma'u sorry, natma'u an yaghfira. Remember the gha, we have to join it onto this ya here. An yaghfira. There's a gha sound. Try that. Well done. Lana Rabbuna Khatayana An kunna أول المؤمنين للمؤمنين. You're doing really, really well. Some of these words are quite tricky, but you're doing very well. حين إلى موسى أن أسر بعبادي. Try the ayn, tighten your throat at the back and try it once. Okay. إنكم متبعون. Jazakallah G2638. That was very, very good reading. Some of these words are quite tricky, but you did really well. Can you tell me about the noon mushaddad? Do you understand what we learned?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Do you want? So this is a noon mushaddad over here. Okay, and do you know mushaddad letter is a joining letter? Yeah.
Yes.
And what do we do to a joining letter? We have to look for the previous letter that carries a vowel, okay? In this case, it's an E. Inna.
Inna.
That was really, really good reading. Well done, MG2638. Keep it up. Jazakallah. Can I have another student, please?
Can G2711 unmute their mic?
G2711. Assalamu alaikum.
Sadikum.
Walaikum salam. Okay, wonderful. Let's just read. Okay. فأرسل
فأرسل
فرعون
فرعون
في المدائن
في المدائن
حاشرين.
حاشرين.
Okay, this ha, if you try and say it, it's sort of more flat. Rather than ah sound, try saying ha. So if you could just sort of stretch your mouth while you're saying it, it makes the sound better. Do you want to try that? Ha.
Ha.
Hold on, that's the sound that you should be doing. Okay. Hashirin.
Hashirin. In
Ula.
هؤلاء
لشرذمة قليلون.
لشرذمة قليلون.
Well done. Okay, so when you see a ya sakina and a kasra letter before it, it's 2 seconds long. So do you want to read that? Qalil.
قليلون.
Okay, whenever you see a kasra before a sakin, a ya sakina, it will be 2 seconds. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Jazakallah G2711. Very good reading. Okay, so we're just going to go on to the next part of our class, Jazakallah. Okay, so we're doing 10 most mispronounced letters, and today's letter is the letter Dad. Okay, so the area that it's formed in is it's a letter of the tongue. So we use the tongue to touch our teeth at the back, and we make a slight sort of da sound, and this letter is exceptional because there's no other letter that sounds like it. It's exceptional to the Arabic alphabet as well, and let me tell you how it's often mistaken with the sound of the za. So you can also say this letter as dad. Some people do say za. It's not wrong, but it has to be thickened. Okay, so how it's pronounced. It is a heavy and thick sounding letter. The entire side of the tongue touches the base of the molars. What are molars? Molars are the teeth, the big teeth at the back of your mouth. Okay, so your tongue, what happens? It touches the base of them. What does that mean? It means that your tongue at the back touches the top part, you know, the top teeth at the back, both sides. It touches to form like a little dip in your tongue. And what happens, you can do it from right or left, or you can do it on both sides. And so it's a mistake to pronounce this letter like a dal. So if I was to say dal or da, that's wrong. In this case, because this is amongst the heavy sounding letters, you'll be saying bod. Bod. What I tend to do is I tend to put my tongue on one side of my teeth, not on both sides, and from the other side the sound comes out. That makes it sound correct. So the sound is bo, bo, rather than a da or a za. That's how that letter sounds. I hope that's clear. So while we're reading, I hope you can make these corrections as we go along, inshallah. So okay, just on to the practice of this letter. Okay, can I SD, can I have a student to practice this letter with me, please?
And G2684, come to the mic, please.
G2684, assalamu alaikum. G2684, assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
How are you?
Good.
Okay, let's practice this letter together. I'm going to read the top three to show you the difference. And then if you could read the bottom one, reading it correct, okay? Let me just quickly run over the rules for this one. It is a heavy and thick sounding letter. The entire side of the tongue touches the base of the molars, either from right, left, or both sides. It is a mistake to pronounce it like the letter dal. So it's not a dal, okay? It's a dad. Okay, let's try this. Nadwa, nadwa, and nadda. Okay, nadwa, nadwa, and nadda. How are you going to read this for me? Would you like me to read before you? You can follow me. G2 684. Okay, we may have lost G2 684. ST, can I have another student to recite with me, please?
Sorry, my mic wasn't working properly.
Oh, okay, so wonderful. Okay, so go ahead. So let's see. Could you pronounce this? Well, could you read this for me? Okay. Yeah, okay, so it's quite tricky because there's a lot to read here. So this letter here is a letter dad. Let's practice it before you start reading. So place your tongue, the side of your tongue, on the, your teeth at the top, at the back, on your right or left side, or perhaps both, and say da.
Da.
That's how we say dad, okay?
Okay.
So it kind of goes back into your mouth, the sound does. That's the correct way to say it, da. Yeah?
Yeah.
Da.
Nadda.
Khatani.
Khatani.
Nadda khatani.
Nadda khatani.
Well done. Okay, and up here, I'll show you the differences in sound. Adda, Allah, and adda. I hope you can hear the sounds. Again, adda, Allah, and adda. Okay, so let's read this together. Adda.
Luna.
So we have to join. Remember, you can see two mushaddad letters here. The same rule applies to both of them. What do you have to do when you see a mushaddad letter?
You prolong it.
So mushaddad means to harden, and actually it's a joining letter. So we've just learnt this. So when you see a small W above a letter, it indicates that there are two letters there. And you have to join this letter onto the letter, the mutaharrik letter previous to it. In this case, you can see a maftu alif here. And we join the dad to the maftu alif, So ad-dad. But afterwards, you can see another shadda on the lam. So we also have to figure out what we have to join it to. Now, when we all, the same rule applies to a shadda and a sukoon, and the same rule applies as it did to the dad. In this case, the lam is a lam that carries a shadda. We have to see the mutaharrik letter that is previous to it. And there's an alif in between, but that alif has no, it's not a mutaharrik letter. It has no vowel on it, so no stroke on it. But the dad does. That means we have to, after the prolongation of the dad, we have to join the lam onto the dad. Let's try that again. So if you just listen to me before you recite it. Dad. Do you want to try that?
Okay. At-Takallum.
Okay, well done. Okay, so that's how you recite it, and that's how you join it together. So don't forget, even if you're prolonging something, you still have to join the next letter if it's a shadda onto the letter previous to it. Let's read the next one. Faddu and faddu. This is a thick the sound. Okay, faddu and faddu, they're different. Okay, let's read this together. Ya faddu. Okay, try and make the sound correct. Faddu, faddu, du. Okay, getting there. Wonderful. Okay, and this again, the dad, waddu, and waddu, vu. thick sounding. Okay, so let's read this together. وَالضُّحَى.
والضحى
وَالضُّ. There's a really different sound to the dal. Do sound.
والضحى
Okay, that's better. Next one, the dad here. فَضَّى. And sorry, قَدَّى and قَضَّى. قَضَّى. You can see they're different letters and they sound different. Let's read this one together. يَنْقَضَّ.
ينقض
قَضَّى.
قض
It's a really tricky sound to make, but you'll get used to it. The more you practice it, don't forget, practice makes perfect. And the more you practice it, the better you'll get at all of your revision. That applies to all students. So whatever you learn as you're reciting at home, please ensure to practice at home, because obviously practice makes perfect. So, okay, Jazakallah G2684. Jazakallah. Okay, so we're just going to quickly consolidate. Let me just go through that. Brings us to nearing the end of our lesson today. So the rule that we did was, so this time we did revision. We revised mushaddad letters, join on to the most recent mutaharik letters, ignoring all letters in between. We did nasalization. It's a special case of tashdid. Okay, and the practice text for today was chapter 26, verses 52 to 60. The letter that we learned today was Dad. It's a letter of the tongue, al-lisan, and the references in Talimul-Quran are pages 94 to 98. And the homework, as usual, is to practice today's verses, applying all of the rules we've revised so far in your daily tilawat. And please pay attention to all the rules that we did revise today and the ones you've been learning so far. Okay, let's go to the final part of our class for a moment. Okay, can I have a student to read the final part of our, the end prayer for us?
And G2746, come to the mic, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, so I'll recite, and if you could follow me. Allahumma arhamni.
Allahumma rahamni
Bil-Qur'an al-Azim.
Bil-Qur'an
This is a noun. Nil-Azim.
Bil-Qur'an al-Azim
Waj'alhu li.
Waj'alhu li imaman nuran wa hudan wa
Rahmah.
rahmah.
Well done. Okay. 1 minute. Okay, if you could read the English for me.
O Allah, have mercy on me through the Qur'an the Great, and make it for me the leader, the light, the guidance, and the mercy.
Jazakallah G2746. Jazakallah. That concludes our class for today. Jazakallah to you all for joining our class, and please remember to do your homework, because on Friday you'll be reciting to the teachers in the breakout room. So Jazakallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.